4th year, Geeks on the Beach. Yes. And our beloved team here, the Chief Geek of Geeks on the Beach, Dave Overton. The Chief Startup Geek, Google Geek, si Albert Padin. The first Google Developer Ambassador. Expert, sorry, huh? Sir Tony po, thank you from the Department of ICT. They've been supported from the very beginning. Our first event, Startup Weekend Cebu 4 years ago, could not have happened without them and without Sir Jun Sahan. So today is a very busy day for all of us. There's many events, that's why you only see a shortened version. We would have loved to have more people here. DTI, Sir Jun Sahan, some of the founders, but we'll see them later today at the Donegosyo Mentor Me session. But it's our 4th year and we're glad to be here. This year's tagline is empowering startups, leading change. Change, huh? Change from within. But if you don't change from within, the startups are going to force you to change. So startups are defined as companies that are designed to, tech-enabled companies that are designed to grow rapidly. And one of its key characteristics is its ability to disrupt existing solutions. So Grab, Taxi, and Uber has disrupted the transportation sector in the world. We can't wait for it to disrupt the transportation sector in Cebu because our traffic is getting bad here. But I'm just glad that we were able to grow with a lot of support from everybody. At the end of the day, we're doing this because we believe in the Filipino. We believe in the Filipino tech talent and its ability to, cross all kinds of barriers because tech is a great equalizer. How many of you guys use Viber here? Facebook? Right? So I always say this story. Do you really think we can build the next Viber in the Philippines? Yes? Yes. So we're doing Geeks on the Beach and events like Startup Weekend, and TechTalks does all these events around the country to give an opportunity to the future Steve Jobs that may come from whatever corners of the world to have an ability and opportunity to get support so they can be successful in what they want to do. The Philippines is the #1 destination for call center. We want to offer a variety of ways that people can contribute to the economy, and one of that is building their own businesses, building their own tech entrepreneurship project, building their own startup, and this is the reason why we do Geeks on the Beach. That's it for now. Thank you.
All right. So I'm Dave. I've been in the Philippines for 13 years, so I've witnessed a dramatic shift that I would say primarily the BPO sector has led. When I arrived, IT Park was a row of restaurants. There were no skyrises or other IT buildings. So we've come a long way. But I'm really excited about what the future holds now. In essence, the BPO sector has laid the foundation for what could be next. And so now we have tech-enabled societies and the empowerment of the Filipino community to basically develop your own solutions. I'll pick on Max, but he's built a Facebook bot already for some of his business and some of his tourism-related services. So things like that weren't happening 10 or 13 years ago when I arrived, and now they're possible. It doesn't matter what part of the world you're in. And so Geeks on the Beach is a culmination of all of that. It's gathering the brightest minds in the Philippines as well as within the region and even other parts of the world to come here and to highlight, hey, look, there's this shining star in Southeast Asia, and there's a capacity here to have the next Facebook or the next Viber, as Tina said, being birthed here. So I'm very excited about this year's conference. We're going to be in lovely Bohol, which, I'm a proud Region 7 supporter. But we do love the region. We're very excited to be there this year. I'm excited. I took a hiatus last year just with some family situations that I had to take care of. So I'm going to be back on the beach this year, and I hope to see all of you guys there.
Okay, this is past the mic. So yeah, I'm very excited to go to Geeks on the Beach. I think as a geek and as a startup guy, we work so hard. We just stay. Some people say we stay in the basement. We don't literally stay in the basement, but pretty much we're indoors most of the time. So we work hard, and I think we really also need to play hard. So definitely looking towards going to the beach this year. You know, sometimes it's like the only time you get forced to go to the beach as a geek. It's like, oh, you gotta go to Geeks on the Beach. Okay, so it's really fun. I'm really looking forward to it. So that's the fun part. The second part is looking forward to the collisions that happen between people. So great people are gonna be there. Geeks are gonna be there, and the great thing about it is that it's not very serious. People are wearing shorts and flip-flops, so it's not so intimidating to approach somebody in a suit because there's nobody gonna be in a suit. In fact, if you're gonna be in a suit, you will feel out of place. So definitely looking forward to that. It's the best way to make new connections, and yeah, it has enabled a lot of things. I pass the mic to you.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you, Senator Aquino. Actually, Senator Aquino is one of the major proponents for the Department of ICT. We apologize that Secretary Salalino cannot make it here because they're busy working on the transition from the ICT office to the ICT.
She already sent the invitation.
Yeah. Secretary Salalima gave his blessings to support all the ongoing projects that ICT office has started. There are around 8. And one is the support for the innovation. We believe that Cebu will be going greater heights because Cebu actually is the seat of the IT-BPM industry in the Philippines. The industry started here in Cebu City. So we are also happy to host the first Geeks on the Beach activity later in August, and I hope Senator will have the time to be with us there. And we've actually worked with the innovation group in our head office for the processing of the COA requirements for the payment of the expenses there. So we have to have an early work cut out just to make sure that everything will be in full swing when we go or proceed to Panglao Island. So thank you very much to our friends from the media who are here and the other stakeholders. Good morning.
Good morning, Mayong Buntag. Good morning. Firstly, congratulations again for our 4th Geeks on the Beach. It's a great time for people to come together, not only to talk about problems, but to talk about solutions. I think kung meron pong commonality among the different groups that come together, it may also include talking about problems, but more importantly, it talks about solutions. And if you look at the startup community here and even around the world, that's something that's at the heart of the startup community, looking for solutions which were never there before. No, disruptive, no? But if you really think about it, we are coming up with solutions for either age-old problems or even new problems that are coming up in our day and age. No? And that's, for me, that's really what is the great appeal para po sa akin in terms of talking to startups and SMEs and all of these companies which are at the frontier of all of this change. Because at the end of the day, we are solving problems together. Of course, if we can make a lot of money and create a lot of jobs, that's great too. But at the end of the day, every startup that's made is there because they're solving a particular problem that's a nagging issue to our society. Earlier, Tina asked if we can create the next Viber. Actually, Viber and even Waze didn't start in the US, they started in Israel. In another small startup community early on. Of course, now they're practically the second largest in terms of output startup community next to Silicon Valley. This is the Israel startup community. And we've been talking to the Israeli ambassador here, and he's saying, the Philippines has all the ingredients to follow the footsteps of what we were able to do in Israel. and we've all read the studies and read the cases. Where they are and where we are is actually not that far. But what they had was a full program in terms of supporting their startups. They were able to take risks on the startups, something which I think our government is not yet able to fully do. No? Yung talagang tataya sa mga startups natin. Hopefully, we'll be able to get there in the next couple of years, where government can indeed take that risk and really either fund or support our startup community. The other one that they were able to do was they knew when to get out of the way. And I'm a big proponent of that. In fact, I think even President Duterte mentioned ease of doing business. No? Making sure that government is not too intrusive in terms of the startup community. Kumbaga, if you can't help them, get out of the way. No? I think that should be one of the most basic things. The third one, I think, is really coming up with a plan that comes from the sector itself. Because, again, government sometimes has this tendency to come up with plans that top-down. But at the end of the day, if you're fully connected to the sector, the plans that you will come up with really come from the sector and are really relevant. No? And in fact, from last year's Geeks on the Beach, where Carl from our office was able to go, we presented our first version of the startup bill. And through that year, we've actually, the bill has actually evolved. No? When it began, our first startup bill that we filed in the 16th Congress just focused on tax. Basically, first 2 years, no tax for startups. So it was really in fact, I would even say it was a very simple bill. But through the year that we were able to really talk to the startup community, do our deep dive with different institutions and companies, we found that the support needed is more than just tax reform. Tax is of course important, but the others are allowing foreigners and other experts to come, be able to transact here in the Philippines without any harassment, and be able to work here also. Allow for physical spaces to be used to really support our startup community, and among others. No? So that startup bill, which we're hoping to pass in the 17th Congress, I can safely say that came from the sector itself. Galing po yun sa mga startups natin. And the other things that we're doing are small business tax reform bill that we just filed, our Go Negosyo law, which is already a law. All of these actually form that support system for our startups. And we're hoping that, aside from fully integrating, really get the feedback needed para yung mga batas po natin relevant. No? One very relevant activity that we did in the 16th Congress, which I know a lot of the startups really liked, was our investigation on the slow internet, no? Slow and expensive internet in the Philippines. We were all very hopeful for a third player, but that didn't pull through. So we're back to talking to our players again and trying to push them to provide better services to our people. I'm really happy that the DICT has already been formed. Of course, the ICTO group was with us during all of those hearings. And now that they're there, at least alam po natin on the executive side, meron talagang nakatutok dun sa mga issues natin with the internet. Now, the way I see it, it's all connected, no? The ability of Filipinos to access internet cheaply and at a good service level, our ability to support our startups in terms of financing, in terms of basic services, our ability to help them grow without taxing them right away, and our ability to link their products to the global market. All of those, the ingredients are there. Kailangan lang talagang ipagsama-sama. In small pockets, nangyayari po siya. In fairness naman. In small pockets. But as a major push, that's something I think that we still need to see. And the current secretary, Secretary Mon Lopez, whom we're seeing in an hour, used to be the executive director of Go Negosyo, which is of course another group I'm very close to. He comes from the sector as well. No? So galing din siya sa sector. So hopefully, his experience with SMEs, our experiences with the startup community, we can all really put it all together and really push for this change, which has been happening slowly, but hopefully we can reach that tipping point with the full support of government, full support of the sector, we can really see the acceleration of all of these startups in our country. Now, I think the question was posed, can we produce the next Viber or the next Waze or even the next Facebook? You know, I think we can, for the simple reason that, number one, Filipinos have the talent, we have the creativity, we have the innovation, we have the drive. We're very close to the problems that we need to solve. So it's easier for entrepreneurs to actually come up with solutions because ramdam na ramdam nila yung mga problema. But apart from that, I think our country is poised to really push this world-class level of entrepreneurs and institutions because of the people in the startup community. And this community, you'll see some of the most vibrant, innovative, creative, brave, if I can also say it, brave Filipinos we've seen. So it's a community that we love to support, and hopefully, with that full support, they will one day call me the chief geek of the Senate as well. Diba? But tuloy-tuloy po yung supportang yon. An entrepreneur's life is not easy. No? For those of you covering the SME beat or the business beat, hindi ho talaga madali. No? And of course, our startups are, of course, start out as S, no? Small or even micro. Hindi ho talaga madali. And the least that society and government can do is to at least try to provide that basic foundation of support. So that when they do go through that journey, rather than seeing obstacles every step of the way, they see support aside from the obstacles. So the journey of our entrepreneurs can be much easier, and they can have, they'll be able to reach their goals at a faster rate than if the support wasn't there. Admittedly, hindi pa buo yung supportang yon, but I think as we move forward, as more geeks go to the beach, and as we get more cabinet secretaries to come in shorts and flip-flops and really try to understand the sector, we'll be able to get there faster. So thank you and congratulations to all the organizers.